my gosh! Where the heck am I? So that's what happens when I steal that forbidden jutsu and decide to use it. I end up in this cloud-looking place. It's actually kind of beautiful. Well, what is there to do? I mean, I guess I can always read this list I have in my pocket.
Come on, I know it's in here somewhere.
Oh, there it is. The Pokemon theme song said it best. You want to be the very best like no one ever was, but in order to do that, you gotta go through some bosses. But the biggest bosses in the game are normally come in the final boss fight. By this point in the game, you should be already familiar with the controls, the gameplay, and how to fully beat the boss. Everyone's got their favorites, and today I'm picking up mine. Now, 3 things before I fully dive in. First off, this is in no way, shape, or form the best list in terms of my favorite video game franchise. These are purely because they are just fun boss fights and find myself revisiting from time to time. 2, there will be spoilers in this video and you have been warned. And 3, 1 boss fight per franchise. So without further ado, let's begin.
Trying to reach inside of me, trying to drain my energy. Let me show you just what I'm made of.
Ooh, we actually got a pretty good treat today. And it's from a series I haven't really talked much about on this channel. If you've followed my channel for any length of time, I have brought up in the past that The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess is my favorite Zelda game. Yes, I know, it's very controversial within the Zelda series, but in actuality, it was my first Zelda game I've ever beaten, and on top of that, I honestly love the story and characters. Well, all the characters besides this walking piece of tofu right here. But besides the point, we're here to talk about the Ganon vs. Link fight. Out of all the Ganon vs. Link fights that the series is known for, this one right here to me is one of the best well done fights, and it feels a lot more personal. Given the power of the light arrows, the fight begins on a horseback shooting Ganondorf, which is pretty easy nonetheless. But then you get into the 1v1 area, this part right here in the game that literally makes your blood start to bump. Putting all your swordsman skills to the test, this fight right here scores in looks and sounds alone. And after the giant emotional roller coaster which is this game's plot, I feel like that this right here is one of the most satisfying things to do. And just stabbing Ganondorf at the last bit of it is one of the most satisfying things I've ever played in a video game, and I have this right here to thank. Admittedly, why this fight is at number 5 is because while though it is my favorite Zelda boss fight, it takes a little bit to get here, so we find this boss fight is not as easy as some of the other ones on this list. And for me personally, the fight is a little bit on the easier side, but however, an easy fight is not necessarily a bad fight. If anything, it just makes it more fun in my opinion. But let's be fair here, I would love to go through this entire game again because it has one of my favorite Zelda sidekicks, and oh my gosh! I prefer the first form better. Please go back to the first form. Thank you. Sorry, that second form just kind of freaks me out a little bit. And how did she grow so tall also?
Trying to reach inside of me, trying to drain my energy. Let me show you just what I'm made of.
I feel like I've talked about this game before. Heck, I might have even live streamed it on YouTube and Twitch. But I forgot what game it was. This is not my stream, guys. This is not my stream. We had technical difficulties starting up, and now we just keep dying. I don't miss that boss fight at all. Mario Galaxy's bosses are way fun, but the one that really takes the cake and honestly one of the best final bosses ever is none other than Bowser. Yep, no nonsense Bowser, but in space! Mario bosses have always been fun, but the final boss in Galaxy literally takes the planet-sized cake. Bowser literally kidnapped Peach and brought her into flippin' space. True commitment, and I love it. Now you do fight Bowser a good amount of times in Galaxy, But this fight right here literally proves that you have to know all the different ins and outs of these types of fights in order to fully beat Bowser. And when you land that last final hit on him, and then it cuts to all this action, then him flying into this fire wing looking thing, again, just like Ganondorf, super satisfying. Now, I really do in fact really love this boss fight for a couple of reasons. First one is actually just because all the different types of stages of him fighting you are actually ridiculously fun fights. Planning, you know, when you're going to shake the Wii Remote or Joy-Con and then bam, you just get him. The second part is the visuals. This game looks beautiful and this last fight makes it pop, and I really love the color palettes of this stage. And lastly, you know me pretty well, it's this phenomenal soundtrack. It's just, oh! This game was already my favorite OST in the entire series, but let alone having the best boss fight music in Mario history is just something that cannot be topped. The fights are in fact a little bit challenging, especially for a newcomer to the platforming genre, but even me, I still had trouble trying to fight this boss fight from time to time, but even so, it's still a fantastic boss fight and I love it. Also, it has the best satisfying ending to all Mario games, and it really makes you think and wonder and care. Mario Galaxy is a fantastic game.
Say what?
Trying to reach inside of me, trying to drain my energy. Let me show you just what I'm made of.
I bet a lot of people are probably going to hate me because of this next pick, but in actuality, this is my list, so who honestly cares? And on top of that, his first form did in fact end up in this game, so ladies and gentlemen, give it up for... Most people will probably be saying the obligatory, holy crap, what did I just do? This right here, ladies and gentlemen, is Giga Bowser, the final boss in Super Smash Bros. Melee. I know I said one game per franchise, but in actuality, this form of Bowser was actually originated from Super Smash Bros. So, ha! I gotcha now. This boss fight happens after you beat Bowser in the adventure mode, like I said, but only on harder difficulties. And it's well worth it. This boss fight is actually really good. Pretty much my favorite boss fight in any sort of fighting game, period. You might think it's Bowser because of the bigger skin and basically different design. It just basically plays like a normal Bowser fight, but he does ridiculous amounts of damage to the player fire that honestly just scares me sometimes. Also, who the heck asked for a Digimon version of Bowser? This boss fight by itself made me enjoy bosses in video games as a whole. And with that fantastic remix of Final Destination playing in the background, you realize that you are actually at the final part of Super Smash Bros. Melee. And after defeating him, you stand up tall, and the trophy, of course, obliterates into nothingness. Until it comes back at Ultimate, which he is still a pretty good boss there, but I've given props to the one that started it all. This boss fight is great. Hopefully no one gets upset that I put Bowser on here twice. I mean, I really do like both of these boss fights, and honestly, I feel like that Super Smash Bros. Boss fight is completely different from anything in a Mario game, so I'm going to count it anyway. But I just hope that other people don't get upset at me. Please don't hurt me.
Trying to reach inside of me, trying to drain my energy. Let me show you just what I'm made of.
Sonic Unleashed. This boss fight means a lot to me. One of my first ever Sonic games I actually fully beaten, that was a 3D game. The challenge yet fun gameplay that the Wii version always had. Punch Out for crying out loud. And of course, Super Sonic. Just ramming yourself into Dark Gaia's eyes, it's so good, it just feels so good! Not to mention the fantastic orchestrated piece that plays in the background. Just an orchestrated version of endless possibilities. This song just flat out rocks. To end on a way amazing game on this note is just so beautiful, and again, just love it so much. Of course, I blame the Nintendo Wii version of the game because we never talk about the Xbox 360 version of the game. That version sucks. This one right here is the definitive Sonic boss that all of us really wanted. And it is by far the best Sonic fight to ever basically be in any sort of game. I am rambling on for too long. I already made a review about it. Please go watch it. But this game by itself is so dang good. Looky here, we made it to number 1. It's about time. Only took us about 11 minutes. So how should I start this? In all my years of playing video games, nothing prepared me for this moment right here. I was literally crying on the floor because this character was supposedly dead. Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind gave me hope that Kairi will end up becoming safe once again, and I hold out hope from that moment. Surely enough, as soon as I got the DLC, I played throughout this chapter, and it actually ended up not only satisfying myself because Kairi is back alive, but also giving me one of the best boss fights in this entire series. Ladies and gentlemen, number 1 is Armored Xehanort from Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind. He's bad, he's scary, and most of all, he's hard as nails. Now, it's not as hard to say something out of Dark Souls, but he is one of the harder Kingdom Hearts bosses I've ever came across. You have to put in your A game in order for you to actually be able to make it. Whether that be using combos with the different keyblades you have, timing your blocks, and most of all, your patience is key in order to win this fight. It took me forever to beat this fight, but I would not change it from anywhere else. This is not only one of the most important boss fights in gaming, but one of the most important boss fights to me as a gamer. And of course, you guys are going to hear me say that this soundtrack also slaps, which of course it does, because it's Yoko Shimomura. And dang it, she put in her A game with this soundtrack as well. Boss fight is great, afterwards is great, all of Kingdom Hearts 3 itself is a great game, and definitely deserves a spot on this list. With that being said, I will see you guys with the next top 5 video. Thank you guys so very much for watching this video, have yourselves a fantastic night, and keep gaming.